In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made as required, indicating that this work session regular meeting would take place at the Municipal Building at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26, 2024.
Can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by and remain standing for an invocation by Councilman Karazi. Pledge of Allegiance to the
May those assembled here today enjoy the many offerings of our township. May we abide by the rules we have established, those of trust, fellowship, and ethics, and may we place service above self in our daily endeavors. And may we always test ourselves and our efforts to be sure they are truth, good for all concerned, of benefit to mankind, and provide peace and understanding.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Francois? Councilman Karazi?
Here.
Mayor Kramer?
Here.
Councilman Onijaka? Deputy Mayor Potosnik? Councilwoman Udine? Here. Councilman Vasanella?
Here.
Councilman Knight?
Councilman Onijaka is in Atlanta and his plane flight was canceled, so I'd like to move that we excuse his absence. Do we have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say nay. Thank you. Karazi, could you knock on that door? Councilman Potosnik's in a meeting. He probably doesn't realize. With no commendations or proclamations, can I have a motion to open for public discussion? So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion is carried. We're open for public session. 5 minutes per speaker, no yielding of time. May only come up once. Please state your name and address. That's not working, yeah. Thank you for lining up. It saves time. Thank you. Look at that. I've started a movement.
Good evening, Council. My name is Darryl Myers. I'm the current chief of Brickstown Volunteer Fire Company. Please excuse my voice. It's not really, it's halfway there tonight. I just wanted to speak on behalf of the consideration for the cell tower approval in the Brickstown area. I just have a couple little tidbits of information I'd like to pass along. As a fire chief, that's needed for emergency response and public safety for us. During the Ida major flooding event on September 2nd, 2021, the county's radio system was overwhelmed and we lost communication. At that point, we were on our own for the entire evening. Our radio system was in and out because of the channels that we run on. We relied on our cell phones, or tried to rely on our cell phones for most of the evening. A lot of times our members don't carry portable radios because they're young and they're inexperienced and they're not officers. So we do rely on that. It's very difficult to operate in those emergency situations without advanced cell service coverage. Again, on Friday, March 15th, a motor vehicle accident occurred on Canal Road. We happened to be at our firehouse during that incident. A passerby tried to call 911, but was unsuccessful. They stopped at the firehouse. Fortunately, we We had a crew there standing by. We responded and provided immediate aid. Without us being there, I'm sure that the cell service not in use, the response time would have been a little bit greater, and we don't know what the outcome of that incident would have been. At the end, I would like to say one thing regarding that. So our apparatus computers are cellular-based, and they're Verizon cellular-based. So with the lack of service in the low-lying area, we're missing critical information, mapping, and pre-plans that are in place to provide us ways to do our job efficiently. We leave the firehouse behind the 8 ball because we don't receive cell service till we're past the golf course on Bunker Hill Road. That timing is crucial to calling in additional units if need be in those situations. There's also a couple other incidents. I don't have dates because it was long ago, and my work schedule didn't permit me to look it up. We had a gentleman broke his ankle on the on the towpath, and he had no cell service either. A passerby stopped, came to our firehouse again, and we got the ambulance there. 2 girls fell into the water during a canoeing event on the canal. Same situation. So this has been an online issue. I'm sure in 1985 it wasn't a problem, but we also didn't have the amount of residents or traffic in the area that we do now. With that being said, I just want to give you an update on the incident that took place on that Friday night. The woman that was involved in the accident, with the assistance of myself, one of our fire commissioners, Mr. Herman, and 2 officers from the Franklin Township Police Department responding quickly and providing medical care, she was flown out and is recovering at Robert Wood Johnson Medical Center from traumatic injuries to her brain, and expected to make a near 100% recovery. So I just wanted to commend everybody on that, and thank you for your support.
Thank you for your service.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Herman. I live at 152 Coppermine. About a 1.5 years ago, my husband and I went for a horseback riding adventure in the Griggsland Grasslands Preserve, roughly half a mile away from any road or anything like that. And my horse was spooked. I was thrown off of my horse, injuring my hip, and was unable to walk. I'm also bringing up the cell tower. He has Verizon services, was not able to contact 911 for myself. I luckily did have AT&T, so he was able to use my cell phone to get PD, FD, EMS services to the area. We believe that better cell phone service in the area could help anybody who is having any kind of traumatic or emergency need in the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lori Sletta, 28 Washington Avenue in Greggstown. I have lots of hats that I wear, just echoing a little bit of that. I am ran with Kendall Park Squad, which covers the south end of Franklin, and I could regale you with many stories of when I'm on a scene and need help and I can't get anybody's, but you've heard that before. I'm talking today as someone who has had the opportunity to work from home, certainly since COVID, and don't have that opportunity because forever getting in the middle of a meeting and calls are getting dropped, so have to get out to get above the church. So basically going out to Dunkin' Donuts or working at the church to try and be able to perform our work at home. With the remote work area that we have now, because so many people are staying home, it would be great if we actually had cell service to enable that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Tom Baranski. I live at 119 Drake Road. This is addressing the Franklin Against Residential at Kmart. Can I do that here now?
Yes.
Just in support of it. Just wanted to ask the obvious question. Do you answer the questions now, or is it after?
We answer after, but we...
Okay, I'll pose the question now.
Well, I'll give you a little heads up. We're not going to answer about that because it's an application before the zoning board. You can ask your question, but we won't answer it. We don't want to influence the zoning board.
Yeah, I'll ask it nevertheless.
Okay. You're welcome to.
Whom do you think, and this goes for everyone on the council, will benefit mostly from this building, this giant apartment building, financially? For instance, the developer, the residents, the building contractors, et cetera. Just if you had a thought about that, who you think would benefit most? And just a couple points. These apartments, of course, will increase the infrastructure needs, including schools, police, and more, meaning higher property taxes for all of Franklin residents. My second point is this property is not zoned for residential site. That is, it is not zoned for a residential site. I guess the burden is on the developers to change this zoning. Just an aside of that is these apartments are approved, will open floodgates for developers and will have the opportunity to do this in shopping centers all over Franklin, which may mean thousands of more apartments would likely be added to non-residentially zoned areas on Route 27. My third point is our township council, thank you, was elected to represent the citizens of Franklin Township, not developers. It's not the zoning board's responsibility to grant substantial changes to the township master plan that was meticulously prepared by our township planners and our planning board to show where retail residential buildings belong. Just one more point. Maybe on a personal note, but probably for all residents of Franklin Township. Franklin Township has, we all know, most of us do, has very little retail space. In fact, it is a retail desert, to borrow a phrase from a new friend of mine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Sletta. I live at 28 Washington Avenue in Griggstown, the Norrisville section, which comprises Lincoln, Washington, and Leif Erikson. I'm currently on the board of Norrisville Incorporated. Talking to a lot of residents, I'm also in favor of improved self-service. We're dropping calls all over, and we're really need service to provide for emergency services and various reasons. So hopefully we can get that done. Thank you.
Did you serve with the New Jersey?
Volunteering on the ship.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you? My name is Sunil Sukram. I live in 15 Lincoln Avenue, Griggstown as well.
Sorry, can you talk a little closer to the mic?
I live in Griggstown as well, and I have father of 4 daughters, and it is a really big issue, more of a safety issue to have cell service. In 2024, it's pretty bad. And this gentleman here, I agree with everything what he says.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dmitry Mikhailov. I live at 1 Washington Avenue. We moved into this area.
Excuse me. I'm going to ask that we check that because I know we can't hear very well over here.
Okay. Is it good?
Or better.
So we moved in 2018. It's a beautiful area. It's a great neighborhood. The only downside was cell phone service. I had AT&T phone from my company, and I had to install the roof antenna and the amplifier for myself, and my family used Verizon, and we had like this internet-based Verizon access point. But then 3 years later, Verizon retired that technology, and we don't have it anymore. So my point is that in our time, cell phone service is not a privileged kind of commodity, right? So a lot of different services rely on it. Like a lot of services require like dual authentication, right? But usually they send you some code by, cell phone message. And if there is no cell phone coverage, you don't get it, you don't have a service, it's kind of disappointing. So my point is, we would benefit if Verizon installs the like extra tower at the Quicksound Fire Company. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Renee McGinnis. I reside at 93 Oakland Avenue, Somerset, New Jersey. I work full-time. I also am a caregiver to my 86-year-old mother, who has been residing in Somerset County, in Somerset area. I remember, I'm here for a couple of reasons, but I remember the Hallmark store, Kmart. I remember that Cleveland Shopping Center for women, which was absolutely beautiful. And Venus Jewelers had a lot of great options to surround it, to protect it, for people to visit, to bring in business. And it looked lovely. It was probably the nicest Hallmark store that we had in this area in the state of New Jersey. So I'm here for a couple of reasons. Definitely that resident area. I am totally against it. One, because we definitely need to keep the zoning for shopping. The way I shop now is that I have to go to Bridgewater, South Brunswick, East Brunswick, North Brunswick, which means that I have to travel, leave my mother, find arrangements to go out on a highway to pick up something that I could actually go down the street, walk to, or drive shortly to get there. I hear a lot of excuses about people saying people shop online. Yes, they do, but not everybody does. And when I go to the store, I see plenty of people shopping. Matter of fact, I have the statistics here with TJ Maxx, its parent corporation, TJX, which owns TJ Maxx, Ross, Home Goods. They have profited $13.3 billion. As of November, it was reported. So they're doing substantially well. I have to go to Piscataway. I have to go to East Brunswick to do that shopping. And it needs to be done here. My other sense, and I'm going to take this really quick, is that as far as food bearing, we need more resources. I noticed that McDonald's is moving over and putting a nice big McDonald's, which we do not need. We have plenty of Taco Bells, we have plenty of McDonald's and Wendy's, and a lot of unhealthy resources. We're in an area that is desirous of more organic, healthy options, and we need to have that. I'm also here because I'm off of Easton Avenue, and we need better signage for people making left turns that they're not supposed to make. If I drive to New Brunswick, I can easily see I cannot make that turn, but we do not have that here. And there have been fatalities, horrible accidents that people are risk-taking. When people leave my home, I really ask them, please go out, go to Franklin Boulevard, do not try to make that left turn at all. But they do it every single time, and it needs to be noted. My final request is that I love Johnson Park. I love walking over there. I love biking. And the thing is, we have, and I understand that either the county handles it or the state handles it, but we need walking accessibilities. There's so many people who do not drive in the area, people who want to go over to Johnson Park, and people almost get hit trying to just go. I remember there was a Rutgers University had a game. There were no police there, and this gentleman almost got hit because people are trying to make that right turn. We need to have a place, this town hall meeting, where we can come together and submit a plan of action to have accessible walking ability. The health and the care of our residents is imperative. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I just ask a quick question before we get to answers? Ma'am, when you say vehicles are making a right-hand turn, where are you talking about? From where? From where to where? I know where you live. I heard where you live. And
Talk into the mic, please.
No. You just talked about walking to Johnson Park, which is in Piscataway. So where are you talking about where there's...
Oh, so here's the issue, because Johnson Park is right across on Eastern Avenue. So if I'm walking from Franklin Boulevard, I'm walking directly across to go to Johnson Park.
You're talking about crossing Eastern Avenue from Franklin
Landing
Boulevard.
Lane Bridge.
The Landing Lane Bridge is not in Franklin. That's why I'm trying to be clear what you're talking about.
So I'm very clear about it.
Okay.
I have called the county already, the township.
Ma'am, I'm asking you where you're specifically talking about a problem. Crossing Franklin Boulevard and Eastern Avenue, or crossing further down at George Street and the Canal Bridge and the Landing Lane Bridge?
All right, so I'll repeat it. Walking across Franklin Boulevard.
Okay.
Across Eastern Avenue, going to Johnson Park, heading towards Landing Lane Bridge.
So that's in New Brunswick, not in Franklin, so that's why I'm asking.
So I start...
Franklin ends just about 100 feet in on Landing Lane.
All right, but the thing is, I'm on Eastern Avenue and Franklin Boulevard, which is Somerset. Is that not Franklin?
And once you start walking down Landing Lane, you leave Franklin and you enter New Brunswick. It's New Brunswick from from a short distance, but that's, we can talk later.
That's fine. So I understand that, and what I said when I was right here is that we should get together so that we can design a plan that works together with the neighboring. I don't know if it's the state that runs it or the county that handles it, but we are part of it.
And that's fine. I just need to clarify where it is so I know who to get involved. So that's my point. I can't do that without knowing.
This is public session. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. I apologize for my raspy voice. That's how much this means to me. My name is Wendy Nolte. I live at 49 Drake Road in Somerset. I have been here, a member of Franklin Township since 1975. So the Hallmark store was actually the Garden of Paper for those of us that are really, really old people of Franklin. That's me. So I'm also against, I'm against it. And he said everything that I wanted to say. I was here for the flood of Floyd. That whole area of IHOP gets destroyed. If a building is to go with more people and more children and apartments, I can't even imagine how we're going to get in and out of Stop and Shop. When COVID hit, all the people coming in and out, getting the elderly in just to get supplies. It's very scary because we don't have any other options for food shopping. You gotta go all the way over to ShopRite. Like other people said, you gotta go shopping for necessities. My husband who's here, he said we miss just going to Kmart to get windshield wipers or fluid right from your car when you're like, oh, can you run and go get this or that? We don't have any of that. I'm in the public school system. Our schools are going to be absolutely exploding. I can't even fathom that. Eastern Avenue is so dangerous. The traffic backed up on JFK just now is treacherous when Eastern Avenue has road work to be done. It's insane to get to 287. I'm scared. Like I said, I've been here since 1975. I've seen so many things come and go. I just don't think it's a good opportunity for us. We don't have any more shopping stores. I know that that's what this is zoned for. Like he said, if we put a high-rise here with more people, a big thing is police presence. My husband wanted me to reminded me that I was hit last August at Stage House. I called our finderless police officers. Nobody could come to me because there wasn't enough staff. So I came here and sat outside of the chambers of the police building. Nobody could come to me because they were busy with other things. If we have a high-rise with more families and more kids and more people that need assistance, 911, EMS, we're going to be in big trouble because we're lacking school teachers, police officers. So I'm not for it, and I just pray that you guys, even if you put in another, like, something great, like, I don't know anything that's like Kmart to help us, another shopping opportunity that would be much better than trying to force people into that little area where there's only one way in and one way out. And now with McDonald's, I don't even know what's going to happen. So thank you. And again, I apologize for my voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Tools. I live on 10 Dahlia Road in Franklin Township. We've lived in Franklin Township for 32 years. I'm here because we are against the building of the 4-story apartment building in the place where the old Kmart used to be. Pretty much everyone has said everything that I'm having a problem with, but I do want to reiterate some of the things. First of all, I don't want to drive from my house up to Easton Avenue and with a 4-story apartment complex right next to the roadway. I think it would be unsightly, and I think it kind of goes against the kind of atmosphere that for the longest time that we've had here in Franklin Township, not looking like a small city next to the highway. Secondly, I agree. I do all my shopping at Bridgewater, Somerville, even Hillsborough. Franklin has basically nothing, so I see no reason why we need to bring a 4-story apartment complex right here off of the highway. I have gone on Easton Avenue at times where I've waited in traffic for over an hour just to get from where the Kmart is up to Landing Lane, just trying to get through the traffic in Franklin. So I can't even imagine how much more there's going to be if we put up this 4-story building. Additionally, every time we're told we're going to get a tax break, my taxes go up. We end up having to build additional schools. We end up having to widen the roadways. So I just, want to reiterate that we appoint the council to represent what the township wants. And this is not something that we want. And it's not something that we feel will benefit the township or the residents. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Benjamin Garland, 35 Patton Drive. So there's a specific point that I'm coming up to address because of the last council board meeting I was actually done where I was unable to attend. So we had a discussion about what our objective was of trying to invest in our futures, meaning what can we do for our youth and work with our school boards to actually do something together. So what happened is that we distort facts. We get up here and start talking about stuff when we don't have factual information because we're not prepared before the meeting. So I just want to address a couple things that were distorted during this time frame. So one of the things that was distorted was that saying that we actually do these type of things or we didn't do it before. So I wanted to directly address this to the Councilman Ram at all. So Ram, when you were actually stated the last thing you could comment after I finish is that you said specifically that we didn't do anything with workforce and that you didn't do anything prior to it with workforce development, which is inaccurate. But based on 2019 and 2020, there was actually a resolution passed by the council board. So precursor, you guys already agreed in principle to actually do a workforce program. So we're 4 years into it, so you should have enough statistical data to actually move forward on any of the objectives that are there. It was tested out with Rackham Valley where they was actually behind the scenes where they refused to come over to Franklin Township and support it because they don't have the supportive services to facilitate to be in Franklin Township to do anything. This was actually done back in the 90s and it was actually done in 2000 because of Pastor Sori's actually doing with Rackham Valley out of the Bank of America spot to actually do anything that was during that time frame. It was actually allocated money that was actually spent that was actually appropriated for this, and it was not done because of the buy-in from somebody outside of Franklin trying to do this. Now, fast forward. We tried to get the school district to partner and put their own money up and supportive services up to commit to doing something for our kids. We say as a town we cannot afford it. We're arguing about a minuscule amount of money, which is about 4% of your actual spending capital that you actually have from a federal appropriations. You refuse to actually invest into your citizens. You click to invest in infrastructure, material items, but you refuse to invest in your citizens. You have not spent, you spent about, roughly in your budget, about $400,000 in the last 5 years about training. That means that includes probably police training altogether. And that's just on your residential SAPs out of $320 million budget, right? That's ridiculous.
And you guys to sit up here and say that you guys want to help your citizens, you hear these people. You're not helping them. You're not helping them. You're not listening. You're really not listening to your citizens anymore. It's a shame. It's a shame that you guys are up there doing that and arguing about something petty. We're talking about investment in capital and human capital to move things forward. This is a shame. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. And again, I blame both Carl and I blame Councilman Rand because, again, it's in Carl's ward, and he should already had a conversation with you. So you guys should be held accountable for that. All right? So again, just to go into that statistical-wise a little bit more, stats of this altogether. So again, we have a New Jersey study showing that we need to invest in these people and develop more businesses, develop more industries that are here, trades and everything else that's here. We're refusing to do that, step forward and do that. We want to be left behind again because we are used to old politics and old ways of doing certain things. All right? That is a shame because in the historical perspective, in the New Jersey Department of Social Justice put this report out about a year ago. It takes $600,000 to lock somebody up, but it takes $10,000 to train them. If we don't want to spend that on individuals and we don't want to get their lives together, we should be ashamed of ourselves. Franklin Township specifically, for statistical reporting, has the highest unemployment rates for the Somerset County, but we refuse as a county to spend money on our own people. We refuse that. That is a shame. 20,583 people is the documented evidence from 2020 to 2023. All right? This is documented for Somerset County facts at all. From the Department of Education, directly from DOE, there has been an increase in school incidents from 266 that was documented 2017 to 2018 to 222. From 2122 to 282. This is because most of the youth don't have nothing else to do with themselves. There is no extracurricular activities. There's nothing else for them to do. And then when they get out of school, there's no young adult programs for them to do anything else. You guys need to fix this. You need to invest in your people. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Good evening. Arnold Schmidt, 134 Hickory Road, Somerset. I basically had my say about the Kmart apartments at the last two council meetings. This is not B9 or Onyx Warehouse. We're next door to those proposals. They're closed senior communities with thousands of residents with their own internal conference rooms, meeting rooms, built-in communication, email lists. So we never expected to get the turnout that here for that the issues that we're looking at today for Kmart. That said, I've read hundreds and hundreds of comments on social media over the past 2 or 3 years that have been overwhelmingly opposed to these apartments being built at Kmart. So mostly due to our needs for local retail stores, for household goods and clothing, as other people have said. We have a retail desert here in Franklin, and apartments at Rutgers Plaza would only amplify that problem. That said, we all know you are not the people who will be making this decision. That would be the zoning board. Next Thursday, April 4th at 7:30, right here in these council chambers. But we will still again want to impress on you how we feel about this Levin proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Grant. I live on Boulder Lane. Been a resident for about 10 years. This is actually my first council meeting, and it actually stems from an event I had earlier this week driving up DeMott Lane with my 9-year-old. It appears that there's a political sign on there that's I found to be rather abrasive, and I'm not sure what the rules or the municipal codes are for that, over its protected free speech, but I was just a little surprised how offensive and abrasive it is, because it started the conversation with my 9-year-old like, Dad, why is he saying blank Biden? And whoever it is, but it's just the action itself, which I work in the city. I'm kind of used to that in the city, but to come home to Somerset as a suburban community, it, to me, speaks of a lack of civility in community living. So I'm not sure exactly if this is the right forum to share it, but I just want to put that out there. It might have already been discussed before, but I just want to get some feedback in terms of how people move forward, or if this is just the political season and we just have to buckle up.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Oh, hello. I'm Catherine Sportak. I'm back. I'm at 6 Larson Road. I'm a woman who walked around with my dog for many nights in the dark and cold, getting people to sign a petition, over 1,300 signatures. My dog says hello. Yeah, so I will tell you, this plan to add apartments, I can only name about 2 to 3 people who are okay with it. Everyone else violently opposes it. They're horrified at the idea of changing the footprint of this town. The impact is so great, I'm not quite sure you realize it. Now, last time I was here, I was talking about how many people will die, how many accidents will happen, because I know you're not going to put up traffic lights right away. We have to have deaths first. Well, I don't like to speak so lightly on human, life, but I realize that is the case. So just something to bear in mind. But I will tell you, lately I'm noticing more and more accidents. I don't know if anyone else is, but I have. So on Thursday, bad accident on Hamilton Street. Anyone else see that? A car tried to cross where there was no lights, tried to sail across the lane, got broadsided. Seeing more and more of it. I don't know if anyone else is noticing it, but it's traffic. Bad traffic even on the side streets. Hamilton has 2 lanes. There's nowhere to go. And you keep building. I don't understand what this phenomenon is, but you keep building. When they're all going to be, filled, you're going to have gridlock. I don't know if you thought about this yet, but you're going to have gridlock. There are right now 366 apartments for rent in Somerset. So you can imagine adding 200 more is a surplus even greater than 366. Yes, and I'm not a math whiz. Anyway, so the question is, why do we keep adding apartments when we don't need them? What we need is stores, restaurants. Why do I have to go to Bridgewater for a great restaurant? Like, why is that? Or New Brunswick. I'm sure everyone else is tired of it too. Another note, 200 apartments is approximately 400 additional cars. Not cars that already are here, not people who need to go pick something up. These are additional cars creating more traffic. They're not already living here. So we're talking about massive gridlock. Also a question, if we've got 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, how many young couples share a 1 bedroom? So that's 2 cars for 1 apartment. Probably something people didn't think about. So that's potentially even more than 400 cars. Are they, we're going to tell them they're not allowed to have cars and, I'm sorry, you can't add to the traffic? Because that seems to be the only solution. Also, what are your solutions to improving traffic, especially on Easton Avenue? Easton Avenue is a nightmare. I avoid it at all costs, but I will tell you, sometimes I have to take it. Adding more cars is not the solution. Thank you for checking your phones. All right. Also, I have no traffic lights out of my subdivision. My little tiny subdivision has no traffic lights. That means I, most times, have to make a right-hand turn. To make a left-hand turn, I have to wait patiently up to maybe 10 minutes or more. I just give up. So what that means is, if you do add these apartments, I won't get the light to get out of mine. I will have to make, that's right, a right, which means that I'm making a right on Buttonwood. So I'm sorry if any of you live on Buttonwood or off of Buttonwood, because my whole subdivision will be going
Address the council.
Or your way, but I know you don't probably live there. Magnolia, DeMott, Cedar Grove. So we're going to be flooding even more of the back streets, and this will be a domino effect on traffic. You will literally create such a backfill of traffic. There was a lady talking about how she couldn't get out of her own driveway on Academy Road. That's going to be more streets that are going to have that problem because you're putting so many cars in such a high traffic area. I don't understand why you'd want to do this. I really don't. I don't see how this is in any way, shape, or form safe or wise or even what we need as a community. So if you're thinking in terms of what does the community need, it is certainly not this. By the way, I already have great neighbors. I don't need 400 more. Thank you.
Good evening. Kiki Anastasakos, 3204 Enclave Circle. I had prepared some comments for my objecting to the Kmart replacement by 200 apartments, and many of the things that I had written were already mentioned by other esteemed members who are attending today. I also, being new to Franklin Township, I had to go online to find out the history behind this Levin property project. I was especially interested as to why Levin Properties has been trying for so many years. I believe it goes back to 2021. And back then, a couple of things happened in 2021. The first is the Change.org petition, which is still on Google, that was started by the young lady who spoke right before me, which actually has 1,375 signatures right now. And because many people are not here out of those 1,300 because they are either working a double shift or working a second job or helping their school kids with their homework, and so they cannot be here because they're not retirees like me. But I just want to urge every council member to go on Google or online and search for Save JFK Boulevard, Somerset, New Jersey from 200 New Homes on change.org, and read the comments as to why people, residents of Franklin, signed the petition. I just want to say that some of the key words that stood out were, to me, overdevelopment, overbuilding, gentrification, traffic congestion, environmental disaster, and need for more retail. Okay. So the second thing that I found out was that shortly after Levin Properties submitted their application, those who were in the Franklin Township Council at the time objected very strongly against the application. And the main objection was very, very interesting to me as a political science buff and teacher, because they said that only the township has their, excuse me, sorry for my voice, that the township alone is responsible for zoning in Franklin, and this application would stop it of that, would strip it of that right. And I think that is the crux of my objection to this. As a matter of fact, the township at the time, and I don't know who was in the council, I know there are many new members right now, but they even took the step of directing the township attorney to appear before the zoning board and express the township's position, which was against the application at the time. So my real true question is, what has changed between 2021 and 2024? Clearly, this is a saga that one can write a book about a very powerful developer, Levin Properties, trying to push a project that will seriously change the master plan of the township. So I would like to ask the esteemed council, are we ready to give up this almost sacred right that the council has to protect the master plan and to protect public safety and quality of life in Franklin? Because many of the people who spoke here today, including myself, have voted in for this present council in order to protect us by the likes of Levin Properties and Link Logistics, because they are looking at their bottom line. They're not looking at the public good. They're just only trying to make their deep pockets even deeper. So I remain hopeful that the right decision will be made. in this particular case. And thank you so much for allowing me the time to speak.
Thank you.
Evening. Carl Rosbach, 140 Drake Road. I'm not going to go back and echo to everything that everybody's saying today, but I obviously agree with it all. My main question is, if this is a rezone of that area, I'm concerned with stormwater management. I saw the proposal when Levin was here. I saw nothing that was added on there, any retention infiltration ponds. Wawa was put in up there, and they have 2 retention infiltration ponds there. Residential housing on Eastern Avenue at Hollywood, and also at, what's the other one there? That are residential houses that have to put on a retention pond or underground storage for water containment. Burger King was knocked down. McDonald's already built there. I see nothing that was added on that. It's new construction and nothing for retention of stormwater management. The proposal for 11 for knocking down Kmart, rezoning and building a whole other building there, all that water gets dumped right into the canal, in the creek and the canal, floods in front of IHOP, and nothing being mandated for them for stormwater management. I don't understand why. I don't understand how they can do this whole project and get away without putting in retention ponds, infiltrations, or anything like that. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Anyone else coming forward? If there's anyone else coming forward, motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing public portion, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Public portion is closed. The next item is to address the public's comments. I'll start with, might as well start with Kmart. As I said last meeting, I believe, the Kmart is a D variance. It is possible that the D variance can come before us. Therefore, if there were, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible. If there were people here who agreed with you, but they did it now in public, then if it was brought before us after going to the zoning board, and they voted against it, the applicant could argue that we had predetermined the answer. It is not in your best interest for us to answer those questions. Do you have anything to add about that?
And I don't want to just merely restate you, and for some of this I apologize for. The one thing that I did want to note, and I think it was to the last gentleman, is our website is actually pretty detailed. All of the Levin application is on the website under the Planning Department, Zoning Board, and I know some folks who have dealt with these issues before know that. You can find their stormwater management report, by the way, there also, and they're subject to the state's new stormwater regulations, which came out in July of last year and which were adopted by the Township in, I believe, September of last year. So just for that issue. To the mayor's point, under the state's municipal land use law and Franklin's ordinances, if a D variance, in other words, a use variance, was granted on this application, the first appeal could be to the Township Council, and because of that, the council sits kind of like the appellate court, let's call it. So I've instructed everybody on the council, especially with regards to a pending zoning board application, to not make public comments, because if anybody said, I'm in favor or I'm against this application, it would immediately preclude them from hearing the appeal. And what that would do is, honestly, the appeal to council is something that usually citizens use. And if everybody here had a conflict, you would lose your right to get an appeal to the council, and you'd be forced to have to hire a lawyer and go to court. It's a much less inexpensive process. So we kind of protect that process as best we can. So, and I don't want anybody to take and I'll say this on behalf of the council, not having polled them on anything specific, I don't want you to take silence to mean anything at this point in time. All the silence means is, for once, and by the way, it's early in the meeting, so who knows what will happen, they're actually listening to what their attorney is telling them, and that's all I can say. So I don't want anybody to take it as a matter of disrespect to anybody's heartfelt comments here today, and certain council listens to everything. But ultimately, because this is a variance application, it will be heard on that record that's established before the zoning board, and it may in fact end up before this body, and at that point in time, everybody will get a chance to pitch, everybody, get a chance to say something about it, and the council will have to vote up or down. So.
Thank you. To the gentleman who came up about the sign on DeMont Avenue, I don't want to give it too much oxygen. It is a First Amendment right. We can't stop it. One of these two plaques has my phone number on it. Call me and I'll tell you much, much more. But that's all I want to say in public. I'll let Mr. Vornlocker handle when it's his turn, Easton Ave, and signs on Easton Ave. Gentleman came up and spoke about training, and he cited two council members, so I'll let them respond if they wish. Mr. Wright and Mr. Ambarrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, how many of you believe that we should raise taxes to train our people? Well, the township has a budget, ma'am. So our budget is spent on providing services to the township, right? So we have been trying to bring institution of higher education to provide workforce training to the people of Franklin. We had some money. Deb is here. She can talk about this program. We attempted to allocate some funds to train our people because there was a federal grant that we got some money. We announced a program in partnership with SCAP, and we provided several opportunities to our youth to take the training at RVCC. We provided transportation. We provided other wraparound services. I think a total of 4 people signed up, something like that. Very few. The gentleman that called us out here, I appreciate his interest and sincerity, but we didn't see any of his efforts go into recruiting and supplying students to our program. Unfortunately, we didn't spend the money, the program didn't take off. So having said that, I'm still trying to run programs here in town, although it's not really the main goal or the mission of the council, but I've had a lot of background in that space, so I try to bring programs whenever I can to the township. So it's not as simple as signing a line item and say, okay, 400,000, 500,000 goes to train our people. Every 350,000 we spend is 1% increased tax for you. So as much as Mr. Guy is a good friend of mine, his heart is in the right place, but there's more that we have to the subject than simply saying spend some money to the training. Mr. Wright, you were called out as well.
And the good part about this is, I know Mr. Guy, nice guy, but Mr. Guy, a couple things that just as a taxpayer, rubbed me the wrong way. Because at some particular point in time, this gentleman over here is going to come up to me and say, Carl, why are you spending my money over here and not on township business over here? Now, I'm going to be stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Do I raise taxes to cover what Councilman Rahm said, or do I leave them flat and make you pay for them, or not have them done in this town? But let me ask you a question, everybody a question, and it goes like this. Most of the towns, and I went to Newark where my funeral home is at, and I asked a couple of council members, how do you do this and how do you do that with the programs? And they said something that I knew, public-private partnerships. Public-private partnerships. We're trying to do that down here, but you got to understand one thing. Some of it is just not working. But yet, you want me to spend the money for that, Mr. Councilman Rahm says only 4 people show up. So now, I'm going to take it one step further. You had a company come in, hate them or love them, I really don't care. Amazon. They came to town, I don't care what you think about them. They had jobs, they stuck a sign in the ground. You go over Veronica Avenue, they stick a sign in the ground. How many people get up and want to go apply for a job? Now, it's not a job you want to keep forever. It's a job to get you started on something. Whatever. It's a job to get started. And they also promote from within. Like I say, love them or hate them, there's a job to get started. There's some training. Do you take it or don't? Now, herein lies another problem. I am not responsible for every single person in town that doesn't want to do for self. You understand me? If you don't want to do for self, why are you blaming me? If you don't go to school, if you don't go actually out there and look for something, why am I the problem? Now, there are some people with broken homes. There are some people that legitimately need a helping hand to move. That's the guy I want to help. That's the guy that needs my help. Not the guy that wants to sit here and not do a damn thing, except take a handout. Okay? I ain't doing it. Now, I might be wrong. Vote me out of office. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Now, that's just my philosophy. Now, we try. Now, Mr. Guy, you once said that we mentioned about putting RVCC over there on 27, even though we don't think they want to come, really. But you said, well, how can the people in the 4th Ward get there? And I counted, how could the people of the 1st Ward get there? How can the people off Elizabeth Avenue get there? They're going to have to do the exact same thing, and that's get there. Now, any other way, I can't do it. The Board of Education sits over there. The YMCA, if we can get it, it's going to sit over there. Some people ask, why couldn't I put that in the 4th Ward? Come on, man. I can't. There's no space for it. And then, too, the YMCA doesn't want to go there. It wants to go there where the guy can make money. So whenever we try to do something, we have to balance it by saying, if I do it here, what can I do there? Where am I going to get the money from? Now, we do have some funds coming up that just might be dedicated to what we need done. Just might be dedicated to what we need done, but we got to work on it. So I might be the wrong guy to do it. That's fine, but by that's what I have to say on that little piece of issue there. I just expect that people should do or try to do better. I'm African American, and I know my heritage, and I know that there can be a stigma attached to trying to get a job, trying to get ahead. Yes, don't make any mistake about that. It does exist.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
So that's all I got to say on that. We try.
Mr.
And that's what I want to address. We try.
Mr. Vornlocker.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I think that really to the woman who had concerns about Easton Avenue safety, are you familiar with the study that's currently being conducted by Somerset County regarding safety on Easton Avenue between Franklin Boulevard and Landing Lane and Willis Fair Drive? So what I would suggest, the one thing that you do, if you haven't done already, I'll give everybody the website right now, is the website is www.eastonav.com. Pretty easy one. Not Avenue, but eastonave.com. eastonave.com, okay? Go to that website, and you will have an opportunity to, one, get information on the particular study that's being done, but also sign up for notifications on future meetings related to it. So that's one thing that I would suggest you do. The other thing is, and Councilman Vassanella, I'm going to give you up on this one. Councilman Vassanella, who's the 5th Ward councilman, and that the 5th Ward constitutes a large portion of Easton Avenue, has also taken it on as more of a grassroots effort on the part of the councilman and some residents that live in your general neighborhood. And I know that he's planning on having a meeting in the upcoming future. So write this one down. I'll even spell it for you. You got your pen out now. All right. Councilman dot Vassanella, 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 at FranklinNJ, all one word, .gov. I'm sure if you send an email to the councilman, he'll give you an update on when we're going to have what we'll call a town hall meeting about safety-related issues on Easton Avenue. It'll be right in this room right here.
Mayor, can I just piggyback on that for a moment?
Go for it.
It took me 2 years to realize there's only one E in Vassanella, but yes, go ahead.
That's why you're not the manager.
Sure.
Those of us with names that start with V know how to spell those names.
But in all seriousness, myself and Councilwoman Udine, because some of it's in the 2nd Ward that she represents, are part of that study group. I've been to every call so far. We've had a few. Matter of fact, we're having one next month. Mm-hmm. We got to go out, I won't go into detail, but with engineers from the state, the county, the private firm that's handling the whole review, we were walking it. Bottom line is, I'm there to advocate, and I have been advocating, and I will continue to, and a lot of what I advocate, I literally write down quotes from residents, especially if the ideas are practical, and they've embraced them. Obviously, some are just a given because it's kind of what they say, a no-brainer, but there are little things that, and I think they appreciate it, that we don't, they don't travel it, they don't live there. There's a little nuances. So I say this maybe cautiously, inundate me with any questions. Leave your phone number, I'll give you a call back. I hate driving Easton Avenue, but I love talking about it. So, and the grassroots effort is something separate, because the federal government effort, quite frankly, is going to roll out pretty much from starting in 26 as far as seeing actual work going through till
like 2035?
2031 to 2035, because a little money allocated for a few years from now, but then the big stuff will happen literally 7 a year. But in the meanwhile, there can be little things that I know the manager is committed to this. So again, just I don't mean to go on, but please, anybody out there, because it's happening, and we, I think, as a council in the county who has a lot to say, we'll be doing smaller things in the near future. So Sorry, Andrew, but I...
No, I wanted
wanted
you to say your piece there. I figured I'd give you the segue into it, but just so you understand that the reason why all of those, so it is at the county, state, and federal level that this study is being done, and it is a county jurisdiction roadway for all of those roads that you mentioned, not only Easton Avenue, but also Landing Lane and Franklin Boulevard. So they have jurisdiction over it, and that's why they're leading this study. And this is a unique grant from the federal government in that it's $1 million to do the study, but it also guarantees the funds to do the work recommended from the study from the Federal Highway Administration. So it will take time. You know, the wheels of government often grind slowly, but it is something that if you're interested, you should get involved in. Mr. Mayor, the only other thing that I wanted to comment on was not necessarily a question, but Chief Sletta, President Sletta, a number of different titles that I've known him as over the course of my career here, and you know, all of your neighbors in Griggstown. So obviously, I was involved in emergency services for 27 years before I put this hat on, and the issues related to Griggstown and cellular coverage go back to the first days of cellular phones in police cars. As kind of an extra function, not a primary function. And all of the equipment in our police vehicles operate the same way that the equipment in your fire apparatus operates. And I would certainly be very, very supportive, as is the public safety director in the police department now, of any efforts to get cellular service improved in the Griggstown area. So it's not anything that falls on a deaf ear in this particular case, no pun intended. It is something that we take very seriously. And I know that the police department and I personally will support any efforts that are made to find cellular carriers for Griggstown. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, I neglected to address that question because I knew we were having the resolution later, but I too support it. Well, we'll see what everyone else does. Okay. Council comments. Let's start with Dr. Karazi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I make my comments, I just want to thank all the community members that they are here today. Thank you for coming and sharing your concerns and your thoughts. I wanted to promise you that all of us here will listen to your comments, and whatever decision we make will be at the best interest of our community. So that's just given. As far as my comments, I wanted to first mention that I mentioned last time that we have a bench in front of a senior citizen center, and that is to increase the awareness about opioid alternatives. And it's a loan from Prevention Resources, so if you have not been there, please go there and see it. In fact, the Franklin Reporter and Advocate did an excellent story about the bench yesterday, and it opened up a discussion about the alternatives to opioid. And we had Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Wendy White, and we also had Dr. Lisi, Chair of Advisory Board of Health, as well as we had Ms. Paige Ewing of Prevention Services during the broadcast. I wanted to thank everybody, and also Franklin Reporter and Bill Bowman and PJ Parker for making that possible. On April 30th at 1 p.m., there will be more discussion. There's going to be a meeting at the Senior Center, and talking about the opioid and alternatives, so please, if you can, participate and share with others as well. One more thing that I think is important I would like to report is that Dr. Lisi sent us a great, excellent document which has all the resources for various services provided by the county. It's almost 43 pages long, and it covers everything from food assistance to mental health, health for blind and handicap, employee assistance, income assistance, and many more. And that document is going to be on the Township website under the Advisory Board of Health Committee section. So please take a look. If you know anyone who needs help, that's the best document that I've ever seen. Everything is there. I also had the opportunity, along with Mayor and a couple of my colleagues, to attend interfaith dinner at Masjid Ali Mosque, and was happy to present a check for $10,000 to Food Bank. As you know, Food Bank is one of the greatest organizations we have in Township, which helps those in need of food, and we were very fortunate to present that check. It was a great event, and people of different faiths came together to share meal and show unity and pray for peace. On the trail committee, nothing really to report except that we're all looking for a warm weather to see more of our community members to start using the 70-mile of trail that we have in our township. Of course, we had a busy week, or busy month actually, with the working with the township budget review. And today I also attended the Public Safety Committee, which I believe Councilman Ram will provide additional information. And that's it for Mayor for me. Oh, one more thing. April is our 40th anniversary, wedding anniversary, and my wife and I are planning to take a couple of weeks break and travel. So I won't be here during the April council meeting.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Councilman Barrison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a Public Safety Committee meeting today. We discussed a number of initiatives that are going on. Top of the list is the Arrive Together initiative, where on an emergency call, in addition to the officer, a trained mental health counselor accompanies, and the numbers are looking up. 80 calls in January, and we are at 133 for last month. So we seem to be getting more and more. The people are getting more awareness about the program, and so we are putting a good use of our resources to these issues. And then there's another program called My Brother's Keeper, which is run by the CRB, our Community Relations Bureau. It's a mentorship program for kids to connect to the offices and grow together. So that program, there's going to be a summit in June to promote that program among kids in the community. So we are hoping that more people get to know about that program and take advantage of it. New Jersey MVC, Motor Vehicles Commission, is going to be in town. They're going to set up at the police department, opposite the police department, in the parking lot there by the senior center on the 18th, April 18th, May 30th, September 17th. So there are the 3 dates. They announce it on the website, and also, as well as the newspapers, emails. They fill up quickly, so if you have some services that you need, you don't have to go to the MBC office. You can do them right here. There's going to be another entry-level testing administered by the township for new police officers. That's coming up. We already have 80 applications from our folks, our residents and others that want to join our the PD. We're expecting about 250, and that's going to be administered in May. So if you know any youngsters, youth, unemployed, people who are who are younger than 35 years of age, they're all eligible to apply. Just a high school diploma is all you need. So please get the word out. The policeapp.com is the website where you would apply. That's policeapp.com. We have a number of openings in the police department. We have retirements, attrition, and open spots to fill. So there's a good chance that we'll hire maybe 10 to 20 out of that pool, and we send them to the police academy at our expense, get them trained, and then we bring them back to serve. That's pretty much I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Vasanella.
I knew you were going to do that. Or I thought you were. A few things there. I'm sorry, I don't think this was mentioned because I think it just happened recently since the last meeting. We've been fortunate enough in Franklin to be chosen, and I think this is due to the dedication of the staff, especially the executive director and the volunteers over there at the food bank. But they got $1 million, the largest gift, funding, whatever you want to call it, that I believe they've gotten. I'm going to say one of the biggest we've ever gotten in Franklin Township for a nonprofit. Bottom line, they're without going into details, a philanthropist that gives out, I think a couple hundred, but there was thousands and thousands of people applying for this thing. So bottom line, we found out recently that they got it. I say we got it because all of us here are going to benefit by it because it benefits the people in this town that are most vulnerable. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I was thrilled about that. Councilman Karazi, he walked away, mentioned before, but his mosque sponsored a wonderful interfaith committee. We broke fast and quite a bit of activities, but his mosque sponsored it, and it was a wonderful event, and they were very gracious. I know that the Homeland Security Director for the state was there, a high-ranking person from the Attorney General's office. It was kind of like a little bit of a who's who in the state, and the mayor and our assemblyman, and I think, Ram, you were there. So anyway, just wanted to mention that. Couple things, other things real quick. On the agenda tonight, you'll see we're approving the purchase of the mobile police command post, which is almost really like a mobile police department, God forbid, when needed in an emergency or catastrophe. It also could be used for other community events and training and whatnot, but the majority of the money for that came from our assemblyman, got it from Trenton, fortunately, so it didn't have to come out of anybody's in the audience's pockets, whether they're at home or out here now. Rob mentioned, or Councilman mentioned about the police program. You know, I never realized, and I've been involved in public safety to a degree for a long time, how many responses, 911 responses involve emotional issues, mental health issues, drug addiction issues, the type of things that are very difficult for any human being to deal with. So having somebody that understands that to accompany the police, that team effort, I sometimes wonder why it hasn't been done years and years ago, but I'm glad it's there now. And I just want to mention, I think Councilman Barson and Councilman Wright gave a lot of information and responded quite in detail as they were asked to concerning job training. I just want to mention, I'm not going to rehash what they said, but just so people out there understand, we're not doing anything. We spent almost $15 million on a youth center, and that's wonderful, but that's part of the reason we built it. We got a $1 million or $1.5 million grant from our Congresswoman, job training, skills training, teaching people how to get ready for interviewing, etc. So there are programs. Besides that, we have certain programs with the county college, our school district, there's county VOTEC, we have the police programs. I mean, I'm not saying I don't want more, and I'm not saying we may not need more, but we do and have been doing an incredible amount. Nonprofits sponsor some. There are corporations who provide free on-the-job training. It's out there. Do we want more? Can we do more? Yes, but no means, I don't think anybody should walk away thinking this town hasn't literally spent in the tens of millions of dollars in the last decade or so for things related to what was mentioned earlier. Just wanted to say that. That's it, Mayor. Thank you. One last thing that's important to know, the Juneteenth parade that I was under the impression was June 22nd. And it was a couple months away, but people are planning for it, and I know I'm getting involved. It's June 15th. So I just wanted to mention that out, throw that out there, because I just found that out today. Sorry, Mayor.
So it's the 15th?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Went through a few dates there. Okay, very good.
Some of us thought it was originally 22nd.
Okay. Councilwoman Udine.
Hello, everyone. So first I want to say Happy Holi, Festival of Colors, spring. So it's springtime. We're very excited for the change of weather. Holi just passed. I've been attending a couple interfaith iftars for the last couple weeks, actually, into it, going and breaking fast with multiple other groups of people. So it's very nice to see the community come together and just talk about what's on the table, which is food. Loved it. Franklin Food Bank received $1 million, which was a very nice thing. I read about that and I thought it was great. I think Mr. Dali, that Dr. Karazi, Councilman Karazi mentioned, that 10,000 came directly from our local community members. So it just goes to show how we all connect and, we're there for each other. And it goes back directly to our own. So we're supporting our own people that are in need of the basic food necessities. It's very nice to hear about it. We're talking a lot about job opportunities, trainings, and I do know that our Assemblyman Joe Danielson is having a career training, sorry, not career, he's having I think job fair on April 24th at the Imperial Way on Eastern Ave. So, he's having a bunch of companies come, recruiters come, so if people are interested, please go out there with your resume and it might be your next job. Apart from that, I just want to say Easter's on Sunday, so happy Easter to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Wright.
Mr. Mayor, some residents asked about the housing authority over on Parkside, were there any available units? And the answer to that question is no. They do have a waiting list, so that's the situation there. RPM, which is the redevelopment agency here in Franklin Township that I'm on, we do have some housing units available. They have some housing units available. So again, you would have to go to their website and tell them what you're looking for, and they'll try to match you up with an apartment that if they have available. They will be building new sites. We did approve some sites for them. And again, they're in the redevelopment area, which is bounded by Franklin Boulevard over to First Baptist Church, on Berry Street all the way out to Voorhees Ave. So definitely come by and look at those if you want them to look at those. Recreation Advisory Committee, we need 5 new members. So I invite you to go to the Township website. Go down to, is it Community Service Center? Recreation?
There's a tab for boards and committees, and when you go on that page, if you scroll down, you can do a citizen leadership forum.
Okay, thank you. And we need people that have kids, don't have kids, want to be a part of a program to help recreation and other things in town, because just not playing balls and sticks and stuff like that. Zumba classes, you name it, we do it. Come on down. We'd love to fit you into that program. Coming up, I don't know if any of you have followed Franklin Township sports, but our scholar athletes are doing outstanding work over at Franklin High School. They're doing really good work over there. And while I will not burden Anne Marie's office, because I like her very much and I don't want to get stabbed in the back, we will just bring them in, say hello, and have the athletic director and the principal say, hey, these are our guys. Not only do they excel on the field, but they excel in the classroom. Because I told the principal, I don't want them here just because they can score 1,000 points. I want them here because they have the knowledge and the brain power to go somewhere. And that's why I'm wanting here, so you can see where your tax dollars are going for the Board of Education. I think Councilman Ed would agree with that. He was on the Board of Education. So that's what we want to do. And we have a 105-year-old young lady here in town. I can't bring her in because she can't drive at night. So what I'm going to do is find my way to her house with the rest of her family, do a video, bring it back into town, and show it here for everyone to see instead of bringing her in. We can all see a 105-year-old lady with her 95-year-old sister. So that ought to be a good thing. And, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for my time allotted. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Potasnik.
So Ramadan Mubarak and happy Easter. I also want to just mention on April 13th at 9:30 a.m., stream cleanup in celebration of Earth Day at the IHOP. This is sort of a theme, Happy Easter, IHOP, on Easton Avenue. It starts at 9:30, and it's a great way to give back to the community in advance of Earth Day, and you'll be surprised how much stuff we'll find there. And the Raritan, well, I think it's a Lower Raritan partnership, will be there supplying all the things you need, like gloves, etc. If you have more questions, let me know. There's a flyer, and we hope to see you there. Thanks. That concludes for right now.
For my part, so what I'm about to say is completely not related to Kmart, as I'd be saying it regardless of whether Kmart was applied for or not. I am not advocating for what I'm about to say. I'm just letting you know what is coming. If you've been following what's going on in Trenton, they passed a bill about affordable housing. You may have heard of it as, before it was called COA. That was actually an administrative department, I'll call it, and the COA no longer exists, but I'm just trying to remind you of it. The way it's going to work is, has the governor signed it yet?
Yeah. Done.
So 7 months from that time, by at least that time, we're going to be told how many affordable units, generally apartments, we're going to be required to provide. So the number that I've heard is estimated between 800 and 1,000 likely for Franklin. Now, generally, the way these things are built is someone builds an apartment building and they make 20% of them affordable. If you do the math just on, say it's 1,000, just because it's easy math to do, you're talking about 5,000 new apartments. Again, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just telling you what's coming. We may have some of them already in our pocket, maybe 100, so that would cut down on a little. But we will have until, as long as it, well, no, we will have until January 31st to come up with our plan if we disagree with this state. I have to be careful of my words again. We have to come up with our number by January 31st, and then by June 30th, we have to come up with the plan as to how to do it. We could just agree with this state, or we can come up with our own plan. So because we want to be ready for that, we're going to be putting out an RFP for an expert to help us with that, because there's 564 towns around this state. They're all going to be looking for experts. We want to avoid the rush, get that done, and get our own plan in. We need to do these things, otherwise we will run into what's called builder's remedies. If we don't have a plan and we don't do the things we need to do, then a builder can very easily come in, go before the zoning board, and then go to a judge after and say, they're not building this project, they're not following the plan, and the judges, it's going to be much easier for them to get it by a judge. So we're going to do our homework. We're going to start early with that. And when I was sitting in those seats and I heard about this last time, it was a shocker because of the things that we heard tonight. So I just wanted to make sure everyone knows about that, and that's all I have. So, over the minutes, there are none submitted? Yes.
I have quite a bit to report.
Oh,
And I am on the agenda every 2 weeks.
He always notices when I miss him. Yes, sir.
And for those of you who are interested in reading legislation that is at times very tedious, the affordable housing legislation that the mayor referenced is Assembly Bill A4. It was adopted and signed by the governor on March 20th, just several days ago. So if you're interested in reading that, I urge everyone who has an interest in affordable housing or housing in general to read it. As far as the job fair that Councilwoman Udine mentioned, that's being sponsored by Assemblyman Danielson at the Imperia upcoming, I would just say that in attendance there will be our police department to discuss with anyone who's interested in becoming a police officer the upcoming entrance exam that Councilman Embarrasson mentioned. And also our HR department will be there. There are a number of openings here at the Township that if you know of someone who is interested in maybe beginning a career in government or is already in a career in a position that we have open, we would certainly be interested in having them submit a resume for those positions that will be open. There will also be another job fair for students of Franklin High School in April as well, and we'll also be in attendance there in hopes of recruiting. The Township budgets annually for seasonal summer employment for those over the age of 16 in the Public Works Department, the Water Department, and Open Space. It's an opportunity for perhaps you have a brother, sister, child who might need summer employment. There are a number of open positions. We're beginning to receive applications for those positions now. I believe they start at $18 an hour, so it's a nice job for a high school kid who's about to start, or she. And we have had girls work in the Public Works Department too. We're an equal opportunity employer. For a young person to earn some money before they start college, or perhaps a foot in the door for a future career here, for those who might be interested in that. So I encourage everyone to kind of get the word out about those job fairs and those job openings. So a couple upcoming events. Just to add some information to Councilmember Potosnik's mention of the upcoming John Clyde Stream cleanup at Seeley's Run, which is the IHOP near that shopping center. There is a pre-registration required if you're planning on volunteering on that day being Saturday, April 13th, 9:30 to 12. The pre-registration link is on our website. It's in the news article, so just click on the article and then you can register for that event. The police department is sponsoring a self-defense program for women over the age of 16. The name of the program is RAD, R-A-D Systems. It is the only self-defense program that's been endorsed by the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators and the National Academy of Defense Education and National Self-Defense Institute. It is a 4-day program for women to complete the program. They must attend all of the sessions. It is Tuesday, April 9th, Thursday, April 11th, Tuesday, April 16th, and Thursday, April 18th. All of the information is on our website. Again, it's in the news. There is a deadline to sign up for that, and it will fill. Every time the police department has run this program, it has filled to capacity, and so if you have someone that's interested in this type of program, I urge you to do it soon. The deadline is April 5th, so that's right around the corner. It is open for registration now, and the deadline is April 5th to register. And April is Autism Acceptance Month, and on April 19th, which is a Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in our Community Senior Center, there will be a Care Share Aware program where there will be a free resource fair celebrating all abilities. You can meet with service providers, participate in activities, and win giveaways. If anyone is interested, they should contact Maria Duenas of our Recreation Department. She is a certified therapeutic recreation specialist, and you can contact her at the Recreation Department. And if you have any questions, but otherwise it's free to attend and no registration is required. You can just show up on April 19th at 6 o'clock and take advantage of all the resources that will be there to educate you if you need to be educated, or to provide services if that's something that you might need. And that's what I have tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Vassanelli, you had a motion?
Yes, Mayor, and thank you. I think there's some people that might be waiting about this cell phone tower situation. So I'm going to ask the council move what's on my agenda is number 17A, Resolution 24-129 to the next item on our agenda to vote on.
We have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor of amending the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Resolution 24-129, supporting the establishment of a Greekstown area cell service to improve public safety. Do we have a motion?
I'll move that.
Second it.
Moved and seconded. Do you have discussion on that?
I just want to say a couple things. First, I want to thank the chief, I know a former chief left already, and also my neighbors for coming out tonight to talk about the safety considerations given the dead zone around the Greekstown area. Appreciated, first of all, that you were so articulate and brief, so that's always helpful. And also, I'd recognize as someone who travels in that area, knowing exactly when service starts again at Bunker Hill Golf Course and also the church across the street. So, clearly this is something that's impacting folks. And, last week there was quite a severe accident where, as it was mentioned, the folks couldn't call anyone for help. They literally had to drive to the firehouse to get help. And minutes make a difference when someone's helivac'd from a location where they had the accident to the hospital. And I'm glad to hear that the individual's doing better, and hopefully we'll have a full recovery. And I'm really pleased that the council took this issue up on the agenda to express our support, and I'm hopeful that it's passed. It's the number one concern I hear from residents in the area when I say I live near there, I don't get my cell service there, et cetera. And it is obviously a safety consideration, among other things like, security systems in your house, and just so much is now cell-based. So just thank you to the council for folks coming out tonight, and hopefully we can make this something in the rearview mirror where there's nothing negative, and this resolution, I hope, helps to do that. So appreciate everyone's time.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potasnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vassanelli?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Thank you. It passes. Congratulations. So now we have no council discussion item, no approval of minutes. We have to pay the bills, though. The warrants in the amount of, this is not so much, $747,400.30. Wow.
Would you like it to be more? I can arrange for it.
Comma.
No legal fees.
I know.
Forgot to put in your billing?
No legal fee.
I present it to Township Council for payment. Do we have a motion on the warrants?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone like to pull an item? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potosnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Item number 13 on SY 2024 Community Development Block Grant Program. My program says we have a presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here for the Community Development Block Grant Program. It is time for the presentation of applications for 2024 for the Block Grant Program. The township qualifies for the Community Development Block Grant Program based on our population. We exceed the threshold of 50,000 people, so we are an entitlement community. Last year, the formula grant for the township was $348,561,000. These funds are provided to the township through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We do not know what our 2024 funding allocation will be. We expect to receive that sometime around the first part of May. However, we are going to proceed with the receiving of the applications so that we'll be ready in time for our summer submittal. Tonight we have a few applicants here to make presentations to council concerning their 2024 funding request. Not everyone is present who submitted an application. We had 16 applications this year. The total amount of funding applications received was $347,225.63. I'm going to let the people that chose to come out and speak on their applications speak, and then I have prepared a summary of the other applicants who are not present.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Allie O'Brien, and I'm here on behalf of the Franklin Food Bank. We are seeking funding through the CDBG program of Franklin Township for an expansion of our services via a mobile trailer. The Franklin Food Bank has certainly, in the past 5 years, but specifically in the past 2 years, experienced tremendous growth, not only in the number of families that we were able to serve or the visits for which we are able to provide food, but also in the growing need in this community for food assistance. We've also done an excellent job of staying educated on all of the up-to-date research in food security space, and essentially all of the emerging evidence suggests that it takes more than food to address hunger. And so for the past 2 years, the Franklin Food Bank has been piloting and then delivering formalized wraparound services in the form of monthly SNAP sign-up and other benefits enrollment assistance through a partnership with the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, as well as monthly cancer and health screenings through a partnership with Rutgers, the Cancer Institute, and finally nutrition classes that are held on-site during non-operational hours. With the exception of our nutrition programming, all of these services are offered outdoors only. While we do provide tents and tables and chairs, our partners and our clients are delivering or receiving services outside in the sun, in the heat, in the rain, in the cold, in the snow. This trailer will enable the Franklin Food Bank not only to deliver on our promise of holding these additional services, but also on our mission of serving in an atmosphere of dignity and respect. Not only will we be able to perform wraparound services, but we will also be able to perform private intake and assessment for the families that we serve who are coming to us at a vulnerable time in their lives. We would be able to spend this funding immediately and report on it in a timely fashion, and it would truly help to build the capacity of the Franklin Food Bank, of which we have none to spare. On any given day, the Franklin Food Bank sees between 80 to 100 families, all of whom are residents of Franklin Township and have to prove their residency. And many of whom might be interested to participate in these services were they to be offered in a more private setting. We are so grateful for all of the support we have received over the years from this body and respect the unique position Franklin Township is in to be able to offer CDBG funding to local nonprofits, as CDBG funds are often allocated by the county. Somerset County has a robust CDBG program for which we are ineligible because this township is so unique in its ability to support organizations like ours. So this body is truly one of the only potential impact partners that can offer this type of support. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the food bank. I'm so grateful for all of you. And I would be remiss if I did not plug the Tour de Franklin. It's our largest fundraising event of the year. It's celebrating our 35th year this year, and it will be held on Sunday, April 28th at the Franklin High School. Registration is open now on our website, franklinfoodbank.org, and I hope everyone can attend. And thank you to all the sponsors. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Did you say that you have to prove you're a Franklin resident?
Yes, we have residency requirements to participate in our Client Choice Pantry. So as part of our intake of our clients, we do require that they prove that they are Franklin Township residents to be a returning client of the food bank.
So what if they live in Franklin but documentation?
We're very flexible in terms of working with all of our clients. In addition to working with social services for people who are temporarily housed in Franklin Township residences or local hotels or that sort of thing. In the end of the day, no one gets turned away without food.
Okay. Else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Some of you are new that I've never met before. My name is Sharon Clark. I'm the Executive Director of the Central Jersey, bless you, Housing Resource Center, and I want to also thank you for your past support. We wouldn't be where we are right now and able to serve so many without your help. We keep running out of money. That's why I had to request more money this round. Usually we run out by the second quarter. This time we're projected to run out by the end of April or early May, which means I have to raise the funds from other places. 21% of our clients are Franklin residents seeking the help. I was very interested in what went on today. We do more than just housing, but I can tell you we have a huge shortage of housing. It's at a critical stage for our clients, which are all very low or moderate income. So, and we have waiting lists for everything. So we coordinate with RPM, the Berry Street, all the other places, and we have waiting lists everywhere. We also have a senior guide, a rental guide, a purchase guide. There's more to housing than just housing issues. For example, we have a car leasing, car buying, and lemon law because people sign, it's a big expense every month, and then if they have a problem paying the car payment, they can't get to work, and then they can't pay their mortgage or their rent. So we were kind of full encompassing. We also work collaboratively so we don't duplicate services. We send a lot of people to the food bank. I think they are a wonderful entity. There's many other wonderful entities. I just came from the county commissioners. April is Housing Month. It's the anniversary of the Fair Housing Act. So there's a calendar I'll leave here with Anne Marie maybe and some of the other webinars. But I just wanted to thank you for everything and ask if anybody has any questions about our application or about what our nonprofit does. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope everyone has a good holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very happy to be here. My name is Peg Wright, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Center for Great Expectations. Unfortunately, you've got me. My team's all sick. So they emailed me at 10 o'clock last night, so here we are. I come before you, with a tremendous sense of gratitude to Franklin Township, to the police, to the firemen, to this body who has supported us for years, and we couldn't do it without you. Specifically for this CDBG grant, we're requesting $20,000, to augment the cost of providing services in Katie's Place. Katie's Place is our child development center, which serves the residents that live in the adolescent and the adult residential center, as well as children from supportive housing, which are the Grove children. So, we raise a lot of money to make this happen as well. So it's very difficult to find funding for daycare. And the vouchers don't cover all of the cost. I think most of you are familiar with the continuum of care that we provide. Through our programs, we have residential programs for adult women, for adolescents who are pregnant and parenting, 20 residential units in total. We have 16 supportive housing apartments in the Grove. We have an outpatient program, which certainly Franklin Township residents are more than welcome to access. It's in North Brunswick. We have an in-home program called START, which will go in the home of an opioid-dependent woman who is newly delivered and provide case management, doula support services, and substance use disorder treatment. We also do training and consultation, so we're a full-service nonprofit, and we've grown, quite substantially over the last number of years, and in part due to your support, and I'm very grateful. So thank you. Any questions? Great need. Thank you.
I think everyone who presents it is going to heaven. Do you have more?
Heard from 3 of our most prominent applicants. We also have received the following applications from Middle Earth for the Journeys program at the Franklin Youth Center, funding for staffing to assist in youth activities, and an employment readiness component for up to 20 youths between the ages of 14 and 18. They're asking for $24,978. From a new applicant, Hope's Cap, which requested $20,000 to do an expansion of ESL classes in financial literacy, home ownership training to participating families. They are currently assisting 228 families in the Franklin facility here. 111 are Spanish-speaking families, and 17 families speak other languages. Home Sharing Incorporated requested $10,000 for its shared housing program to serve 250 Franklin residents. The YMCA requested $12,008 for the Swim Around program, which they have provided for the K-5 Title I schools, Pine Grove, Elizabeth Avenue, and Hillcrest. Sister to Sister had asked for $5,000 for staff support for counseling for low and moderate income breast cancer victims and cancer survivor scholarship training. That is the bulk of the public service. Total amount of requests, $126,439. However, we can only fund probably about half of that because there's a cap on public service in the CDBG program of 15% of your grant total. We also have public facilities requests from Sister to Sister to install a wheelchair accessible ramp at their main entrance to the parking lot. The food bank, Allie spoke, but she didn't give you the total. They're requesting $100,000. Somerset's CAP is requesting improvements to the facilities for $10,000. Sister to Sister, again, a third priority for building and ground cleanup at $7,000. Franklin Township Environmental Commission requested funds to upgrade the community grounds garden, $9,062. Total public facilities requests, $155,657.63. We have 2 housing requests to add to that total, $20,129 from the Center for Great Expectations to install a sump pump and sewage ejector at their 2 homes on Delwood Lane. And the Arc of Somerset requested $45,000 for reconstruction of driveway paving and sidewalks at one of their facilities. Total housing request $65,129. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. On to item number 14, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. First reading is when we announce to the world that we're considering an ordinance. Second reading is when we vote on it, if it makes it that far. Ordinance 4430-24, accepting a deed of dedication from Enclave at Canal Walk Condominiums Owners Association, Inc., at Block 513.48, a portion of Lot 1.02, Schoolhouse Road, is presented to public hearing, final adoption. The public hearing has been notified as required, so we have a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. We are open for public discussion on this item only.
Mayor, seeing no one coming forward, a motion to close the public portion of the hearing on the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Seconded.
And seconded. Any discussion? Clerk?
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potasnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Ordinance 4431-24, calendar year 2024, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit and to establish a caps bank is presented for public hearing and final adoption. The public hearing has been noticed as required. Do we have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. We're open to the public on this item only.
Seeing no one coming forward, Mayor, a motion to close the public portion on this hearing on the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion is carried. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Seconded.
And seconded. Any discussion on this item? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potasnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
On to ordinances on introduction and first reading. Ordinance number 4432-24, an ordinance amending the municipal code of Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, with the addition of a new chapter 153 entitled Lead-Based Paint Inspections. Foregoing ordinance is presented to Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting and publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption at a meeting of Township Council to be held on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. We have a motion to adopt.
So moved.
In
Seconded.
a second. It's moved and seconded. So this is for rental units that were built before 1978. 1978 is when they took lead out of paint to be inspected periodically for lead. And Councilman Potasnik, Deputy Mayor Potasnik, I'll get it right. Did you have questions about this, or have they been answered?
There was a question in one part of it. It says that it's every 3 years, and then later it says that you get a certificate for 2 years, which exempts you from having to do it. And it seems strange that one was 3 and the other was 2. So then our township attorney looked up the actual law that was passed, and it was passed with that strange attribute, and which means we don't have the flexibility to change it. We would be not in compliance. So,
and it's
odd.
This is basically not optional to us.
Correct.
And we have secured a company that will do this and take care of all the paperwork so that we don't get involved, they will charge the home or the renter $250, but it will be at no cost to the taxpayer. So the owner, renter, not the person who rents, the person who owns the building will pay that $250. Any other discussion?
I just had a couple of questions for clarification. I'm not against the ordinance, but like Councilman Potasnik, there were a few things that just seem very strange wording. So I just want to be clear with the attorney. So when it says D, the owner or landlord, blah, 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 required to obtain inspection for lead-based paint hazards every 3 years, comma, or at tenant turnover, whichever is earlier. So that's null and void. Let me be careful how I word this. The part that says a tenant turnover, somebody had to leave after 6 months, that's null and void if they have the form that the state sends them anyway, certifying that's good for 2 years?
If you have a valid lead certificate, then you're okay.
So then that tenant turnover within the 3 years won't matter if that 2-year certificate you're holding on to. And is that the certificate they get from the state after you do your first inspection and get cleared?
Certificates come from the state, not from the township. This is
right,
a
that's what I'm saying.
program.
Okay, so the weirdness, it seems weird, you know, one's 3, one's 2, one's whichever's earlier. This ordinance itself is the requirement based on the statute?
Yes.
Yeah, in fact.
Okay, so we didn't have any say in how it's worded.
Your ordinance that you see there is a copy and paste of the state law that was enacted about 2.5 years ago, in which this municipality and every municipality has an obligation under that law to adopt an ordinance by July 1st of this year and institute this program.
It was effective July 22nd, 2020.
Okay, and just one other thing, I'm sensing now we can't change it because I'm glad you're doing the ordinance, but boy, it's worded weird. I should have assumed if you wrote it or we were putting it together, it would probably make more sense or sound more logical. But anyway, number B, I just want to be sure here I'm understanding it under the penalties portion. A property owner fails to cure the violation, assuming I guess they don't pass after 30 days, they can be assessed a penalty up to $1,000 a week. So just say in a situation it's vacant and somebody's going to renovate or sell or tear out walls or something, they could be penalized?
Yes.
Even if it's empty, if everything's not done or the place isn't sold or renovated in 30 days?
Yes.
Wow, I'm not a landlord, but that just seems a little overbearing. But again, it's the state, so we have no say whatsoever. Okay. I just
figured out thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's great we're doing it. It seems like a kind of a flawed wording, but again, just wanted a clarification. Thank you. I know. Go ahead.
Well, remember what the notice says in B is that $1,000 until the required inspection has been conducted. So if you're out of compliance and you haven't inspected, you have to get an inspection. Or the remediation has been.
So you mean if it started, if somebody takes an effort to start something?
You have to start the removal, correct.
Okay.
I figured out the 2-year, 3-year thing. SNL figured in my mind that you have to get it every 3 years or when somebody moves out. But if you have a certificate and it's within 2 years when they moved out, then you don't have to get it inspected.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarification. And we have a lot of rentals in town, so hopefully we'll end up being even a little more safer at the end of the day with this. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Embarrasson?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potasnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine? Yes. Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Ordinance 4433-24, an ordinance amending the municipal code of Township of Franklin, Somerset County, New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 13, Boards, Committees, Commissions, Article 5, Cultural Arts Council, Section 1313, Committee Structure, and 1314, Term of committee members. The foregoing ordinance is presented to Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, and publication in accordance with the law, and public hearing and final adoption at a meeting at the Township Council to be held on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, at 7 p.m. at the Township Council chambers. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. We're basically expanding the board by 2 people. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk.
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potosnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella? Councilman Wright?
Okay, we're on to ordinance 4434-24, an ordinance amending the municipal code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 93, Alcoholic Beverages, rescinding Section 93-1, Location Restrictions for Licensing. The foregoing ordinance is presented to Township Council for adoption on first reading, posting, and publication in accordance with law, and public hearing and final adoption at a meeting of the Township Council to be held on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, at 7 p.m. in the council chambers. Do we have a motion to introduce and set public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So this takes away the 2,000-foot restriction between liquor licenses or places that sell alcohol. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potosnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella? Councilman Wright?
The items A through N is listed on the consent agenda portion of the meeting are presented. Oh, I'm sorry. We're moving on to the consent agenda. So items A through N, as listed on the consent agenda portion of the meeting, are presented to Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Anyone, any discussion? Anyone like to pull an item or clarify an item? I would just like to bring notice to, it was already mentioned, but we are buying the command box, item number I. Finally, it's been years in the making, but we finally have the money to do it. Any other items? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potosnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella? Councilman Wright?
And resolutions to be voted on separately. We already did the one for the cell tower. We have one other. Resolution 24-30 authorized grant application, Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And seconded. So if Firehouse wants to go for a grant and...
No, actually, it's our police department, Mayor. The Firehouse Subs is a sub shop that's in other places in the country, just not here locally in New Jersey, and they have an emergency services grant program, and our police department is applying for a grant from
That
them.
makes so much more sense.
There you go. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, I didn't see this until I arrived here tonight. Okay, great. Any other discussion?
Does it come with subs?
I wanted to know the same thing because there was not a particular item for which we're applying that I can see. So I thought maybe we're asking for food.
Because that tasty sub shop is very good.
Wait, do we get to choose what kind of subs, or do we take what they give us?
And moving on.
Any other discussion?
Trust me, Doctor, none of that for you.
Madam Clerk?
Councilman Barrison?
Yes.
Councilman Karazi?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Potosnik?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine? Councilman Wright?
Boards, committees, commissions, vacancies, anybody?
Just a reminder that we need 5 members for the Recreation Advisory Committee, so please fill out the forms, kids or no kids, as long as you got kids at heart, we'll take you. Thank you.
Anne Marie, do you have the names of those people for the cultural arts?
No,
Creating
we
this-
should wait and do it all at once when.
Oh, that's right, that was
the
first reading, right? Okay, very good. Okay, moving on. So before I adjourn, the one thing I forgot in my council comments, be strong, Baltimore. Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Moved in, seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. We are adjourned. Be well, Baltimore.